spent 20 years in corporate, doing a totally different line of business, but the calling was to work with dogs, something I always wanted to do, and spending that amount of time in corporate finally gave me the opportunity to get out and do not what I had to do, but what I wanted to do. I was a broker, a financial advisor with Payne Weber was the name of the company. They're gone now, UBS bought them. Then I went to an insurance company, was a wholesaler for about 15 years. Annuities, mutual funds, all that good stuff. You know, it ran its course for me, and so I lived in a hotel 5 days a week. And as, you know, a 20, 30-something-year-old, that was fantastic. But in your 40s with 2 kids at home, you know, I was like, what am I doing eating pizza at Hampton Inn in Binghamton, New York? And it was great, but it like I said, it ran its course and had the opportunity to get into doing something I wanted to do, which was, you know, I always thought I would do like a nonprofit, like animal rescue, but this was, you know, a great alternative. I spent 6 months looking to start, and it was a, you know, labor-intensive process. I was looking at properties and driving around and did tons of research and you know, read everything there was to read about it. So I looked at a number of different businesses that were available, as well as starting from scratch on properties that were available. Westport's a nice, it's a beautiful community. It's a right-to-farm community, so I knew it would be a good fit, animal-related. And it was just a natural fit. Once I came down and looked at the property and looked at the town, I just fell in love with it. And this place popped up and like it was meant to be. I took over the business in October of 2016. Bought it from the previous owners who had owned it for, I think, almost 10 years. The existing clientele was here, and we continued operating and servicing who had used us before, and it had been here so long. There were people, you know, that come and go on a regular basis. They didn't have day camp when I took over. It was just boarding, and it was very much a sleepy, quiet, mom and pop type of organization. Mm-hmm. And we ramped it up and added day camp to the program. And I mean, it was, you know, we had Camp American Canine, so everything became day camp, sleepover camp, Camp Clip and Dip, our spa. So all those things were kind of brought on, and you know, it's developed into a great opportunity. So that's what got me here today.
From Little Compton. I was born in Little Compton. I've been there my whole life. I've been in the mechanic business my entire life. I started working for the dealerships when I was 14 years old, and still doing it now. We were located in Little Compton on Long Highway. We started in 2009, and in 2016, we purchased the property and moved over here. It was previously called Joe Al's. Joe and Al, Joe retired, moved to Florida. Al bought Joe out of his half of the garage. It's a great community. It's still a small town, just like Little Compton. It was a facility that was already built and ready to go. Previous owners started it back early on in the late 50s, I believe, or early 60s. And the previous family was just getting ready to sell when I was looking. Bigger location, really nice facility. A lot of great traffic between Little Compton and Westport Village.
I think in just the services we provide. You know, a lot of people locally, you know, again, the surrounding communities, they have a need, and it's obviously they want to entertain their dogs, and first and foremost, it's for the happiness of their family member to be able to get out, meet friends, expel that energy, get out and play, interact, socialize, all those things, and hopefully improve their behavior when they're home because they're tired. Tired dog is a good dog, but also when they're out and about in the real world, they're more social and affable with other pups they come in contact with. But beyond that, for the people, you know, if they're getting work done around the house, they have contractors coming through, they have landscapers coming, they're traveling, they're going out of town, or the day-to-day, they've got to go into Boston for a doctor's appointment, or they've got you know, work that they've got to go to. Instead of keeping the pup at home or having nowhere to put them if they're out of town, we provide a service on that front to afford them the opportunity to have their dogs be cared for, have a nice little vacation, camp vacation of their own, and enables them to get out and do what they need to do.
We keep Westport Fire on the road. We are a full service facility for anybody traveling through that breaks down, flat tires, headlight bulb out. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and all day long we service drive-bys or scheduled appointments. I would say if you're going to come and open business in Westport, be sure to check your traffic count for year-round, not just your traffic count in the summer or just winter. Make sure you plan accordingly. That would be my #1 piece of advice to a new business owner.
I don't know if it's as specific to Westport as much as just generally HR. That's the most challenging thing that I never accounted for. You know, I thought it would be about building the business, trying to advertise and get, you know, customers. Fortunately, that's been less of a challenge as has been the HR side of it. Just managing a small business and the employees, keeping the staff, you know, at the level that it needs to be at. Yeah, that's probably been the most pressing challenge is just staffing and managing that process. Right, I just lost a groomer, so I'm in the midst of trying to find another groomer, and in the meantime, I'm shorthanded. So, you know, that's the delicate kind of line we walk. Pleasant. It's a great small town. It's got that rural kind of local community feel, but it's still accessible to Providence, Boston, everywhere you know might want to be.
Pristine because of our coastline and our beach community.
It's a small town, it's a local town, but it's infused with a lot of activity during the summertime. So it's kind of a great fit for us because we're here year-round and we service the local population in all the surrounding communities, but obviously summertime comes and we get an influx of people from everywhere. I mean, from the Midwest, from Chicago, from New York, from all over the eastern seaboard for the most part. And that's great for business. So it's a win to have, you know, the local community here and working with them and the people that need us for all the services we provide. But it's great for business as well during the summertime. Really mid-June to end of September is full swing, 100%. I always kind of say it's a very transient community in the summertime, and that I say that in a good way because as a business owner, you know, a lot of the locals don't necessarily love the influx of tourists, but you know, a lot of the businesses we thrive on. Go to Lee's in February, go to Lee's in July.
Westport is unique because of the amount of, we have a lot of waterfront and beautiful beach. We have 2 inlets off the ocean. We have a lot of beautiful property and open space management areas that are open for people to walk. The town itself is a pleasure to have a business in the community. They're right up the street. Anytime you have a license to renew or inspection to have done, it's a small town, so it's a phone call or an email away. It makes it a lot easier. When I was purchasing the property, I got to know the building inspector pretty well because everything had to be brought up to date safety-wise and code-wise. He was a phone call away. Also, when I purchased the property, it had some older gas tanks that had to come out of the ground. Again, it was real easy, permitting-wise, and who I had to talk to just made it easy to deal with. You can pretty much walk in the town hall and talk to one person that can point you in the direction in which you need to go to talk to the next person that you need to speak with, you know? It's a really great town to work in. It's The people here are fantastic. Our summer population grows quite a bit. I think the town does a great job with managing the influx of population. Lee's Supermarket right up the street, they've done a great job of being able to stay here for the winter and the summer folks, and we don't have to drive way out of town to the city. So we're really lucky to have the people around us that we have. My favorite place in Westport would be probably the back eddy. It's nice to go there on a summer night and sit down on the back and have dinner. Usually anything smoked bluefish that's on special is my go-to.
So, like any place else, when you live somewhere, you don't necessarily explore the same things all the tourists do. So, silly as it is to say, I had never been to Gooseberry Beach. I went down there this summer. The most amazing stretch of road along from Gooseberry all the way down. That's amazing. So I just think that coastal stretch here at the end of 88 is just fantastic. I'd never been down there until this summer. I'd never been past the bridge until this summer. Dude, don't ask me why. Exactly. That's a great, it's like people who live in Southern California don't go to Disneyland. Kind of maybe the same thing. But I'd never been down there. It's just fantastic. It's like it's like paradise. Yeah, just that stretch of beach is just, it's like you're in a different world. It's awesome. So that's probably my favorite spot. Being where we are geographically, down this far in the niche, restaurants. Like, there are some great restaurants locally, but I think they want for one or two or three more options. So I would say maybe more food choices. And that's just because 5 days a week I'm looking for food choices and I run out of options. So Partners is great, love their sandwiches, delicious. Village is great, love their sandwiches and subs and their pizza. Lee's, I spent a lot of time in Lee's for lunch with their hot bar and their sandwiches and their deli counter. Wild Honey is relatively new and started going there in the last year or so. They're great. Bootleg's great, but sometimes their hours are off from my lunch kind of shift. The Westport, I've never been there because their hours are not a lunch place. But right, once you exhaust through those, you're done. There's not much else to choose from. It's usually Partners, Village, Lee's, and maybe Wild Honey.
No. I think we have what we need. I think we have just the right amount of balance of residential, business district, open space. I think our public services are pretty on key for what we need for the area. I would say if we need anything else, it would probably be maybe a couple really nice small personable restaurants. If we could squeeze a couple more in, would be great. We could use another one or two like home style meals. We have plenty of seafood going on so far, but the steak and potato kind of restaurant wouldn't be bad.